Ooh, that's the first time we got all the way through the song. Hey guys, we are waiting for her. She's had a little technical difficulty. It's actually changed. The gentleman that I posted, he's going to have somebody on there a little bit. Her name is Lola Carter. She's actually the administrator of the page, and the gentleman that told me about it, Louis, he said he's going to pass it on to her. So we're waiting on her to get on here, and because we're having a little tech diff, but we'll get rolling. I got her rebooting right now, and then I'm going to send her another shot and see if we can't get it on there. Chris, my brother, where are you at? I didn't see your name pop up. Did I miss it, Misty? My brother Chris. Well, we will be talking some Bigfoot, Sasquatch, all kinds of good stuff like that. Kind of anticipated. Hey, Jancy, how are you? I don't see your name yet, but welcome. I see everybody saying, hey, there she is. Hey, Jancy. Where did you see Chris, Misty? I didn't see Chris. But we're waiting on her to get on here, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. But I have her rebooting everything that's going on. There's Chris. That's my brother. He's always sharing. That's my man, Chris. Hey, don't forget, guys, next weekend we will have Chris on. We're going to be talking about some paranormal experiences he's had. We're going to be talking about some paranormal evidence he's caught and paranormal, routines he does. And we're going to probably talk a little bit about some aliens. Again, I love that green guy. Well, they're actually called the Grays. But just as soon as she gets on here, guys, we'll get rocking and rolling. But I have her rebooting her stuff. And just as soon as she comes on, we'll get her on here. I actually thought we was going to have 3 people on talking about it tonight, but 2 of them didn't come in, and they passed it on to the administrator of the page. So they do have a page, so if anybody's ever interested in listening to it or looking at it and see some of the stuff that they got, I'll have her posted on here. So we'll get rocking and rolling. There she is! Can you hear me? You hear me okay? I don't hear her. Why don't I hear her? You should. It should have. All right, now we got her on. I'm going to post her up here, guys. And there she is. She's up here with us. Now, if we can get some audio on her, we will be rocking and rolling. We're having all kinds of good stuff going on tonight. Let's see what's going on here. See if it's on my end. You hear me just fine, right? Shake your head if you. We will be doing sign language on this show tonight, everybody. So I hope you're all up to par with your sign language. Actually, I do not. Where's your volume? Oh, there's the volume. Why is it not giving volume? Is it me? I'm trying to get you on here. I don't know if it's me or not. Oh, wow. But this is driving me nuts. Do you have a mic on your phone, Lola? Yes, he's got an iPhone, Lisa. I don't know what is going on. It's one of those things where you're ready to pull your hair out. Yeah, hold on. We're working on the mic. We're working on everything here. We're making sure everything's. I just tested it before we came on, and it was working a minute ago. Actually, take your headsets out real quick. See if we hear you that way. Oh, she did, and she's frozen on this one, but she's good over there. Why am I not hearing your broadcast? Oh, what? I just heard something. You hear me, Lola?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Ah, yeah, we got her. Great. Awesome. There we go.
I just took
I don't know what goes on.
I took the headset off.
Yeah, good, because I don't hear any feedback with it anyway. So it sounds really good.
Okay, great.
Really. Well, what we do, we just have a great big conversation with everybody and that's watching, and I just have a conversation. I'll ask a couple questions, and then I'll pick up on things that you say as we go along.
Okay. I saw you a minute ago, but your picture went away.
Sometimes I'll freeze, and it's like, and then I'll boot. I'll have to refresh, but if it ever does that, just refresh. I'll refresh real quick, and it'll bring us back up.
Awesome.
All right. Well, first question. Let's get started here, everybody. This is Miss Lola Carter. She is here to talk some Bigfoot with us, some Sasquatch. But the thing of it is, I've never talked anything about this, so this is kind of interesting to me. So what I'll do is I'll get started. What got you started into doing Bigfoot and Sasquatch, or the same thing?
Right. Well, I always started off as paranormal, like, ghosts and spirits and stuff. But I had 5 brothers, and I grew up in the hills of Kentucky. And so it was totally by accident. We'd be out in the hills and, looking up the caves and messing around, hunting for ginseng. And that's how it all started. And then I got curious and just kind of went from there.
So did you all, when you all was kids, did you find any kind of evidence of Bigfoot or anything like that?
That we did. I mean, there would be like some weird tracks, like, I would think that it would be my brother, because or I'm barefooted through the hills or whatever. And I'd be like, it's just, I don't know what it is,
Right.
And they would swear up and down they didn't do that, because I had brothers and I thought they would play, tricks on me. And they were like, I swear to God, it's not us. We're not messing around or anything. But I think they kind of got off on like, scaring me. So that's what I thought it was. But, it would be, and I was young. I was really young
Right.
when that was going on. So I would say I was probably like 13, 14 years old. But I do know that one of the very first experiences I had scared all of us, and we were out of there.
Oh, really? What was it like? What did you see, or what did you find out?
Well, first of all, it was starting to get dark, and we always had to be home before it got, really dark. And so we had our bags of ginseng, and all of a sudden it kind of was like it was breaking like tree limbs or branches. And we thought, well, it's a deer, it's maybe a bear or something. We didn't know, but it got loud, and it kind of almost sounded like a growling, but not quite a growl. And we were scared to death. And it was just like, okay, time to go. And so, but we went back the next day to see,
Right.
like, in broad daylight what that was, or, could we see anything? And whatever was breaking those tree limbs or those branches had to be a lot heavier than me. They had to be. The tree limbs it was too big. You just couldn't step on them and break them because we tried. But we did see the tree limbs that was broken from the day before. And it's like, how in the hell? What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So had to be something, no. Well, I guess you would, living in the country or the hills of Kentucky, you would know what a bear sounded like.
Actually, I've never really seen a bear.
Really?
No. Um, I've seen other wildlife, of course, but I've never actually seen a real bear, except for at the zoo, of course. But um, no. And my brothers would take me out in the woods and stuff like that. But for the most part, my mom, you don't wander too far away, so but I think that, I mean, from what we saw, that from that moment on, it just put me on this path of like, I want to know more. What is this?
Right.
Who is that? How's it happen? Where do they go? How do they live? And so these are all the questions that, I've wanted to find answers to.
Right.
But whatever broke those tree limbs and whatever was there had to be a lot heavier than me or my brothers. There's no way it could have. I don't know what it could have been.
So you all hightailed out of there that night?
Oh yeah.
Because I know I would have.
Oh yeah. But and the thing about it, when we went back the next day, we just all stood there and just kind of like, what is this?
Right.
So
it didn't leave anything behind, like any kind of hair or anything like that? Or you didn't even probably look, you just looking at the branches.
yeah, we were looking at the branches and we were looking around to see if we could find any prints or anything like that. And as far as footprints goes or anything like that, no.
Really?
So,
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
As heavy it was? I mean, you're saying it's pretty heavy and it's amazing.
Yeah, and it did not leave any footprints, but there was lots of branches, there's leaves. It's really heavily wooded. So it's not like it was mud or, like a soft ground or that could leave a print or whatever. But
okay.
But we were so young, and so, but Lawrence County, Kentucky, where I grew up at, has had numerous Bigfoot sightings.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I live in Lexington, Kentucky. So
Okay.
it's like, of course, I'm up here in kind of the city part. I don't hear much about it unless I see it on TV, but it's always intrigued me,
It is. It's very intriguing, and especially like where Louisa, Kentucky is. It's right across the river from Fort Gay, West Virginia.
Yes.
And, also it's heavily wooded. I mean, that's all there is,
Yeah.
and numerous Bigfoot sightings in Lawrence County. And I know the area very well since I grew up there, but there was also, I read about a sighting going out toward Yatesville Lake on Route 32 going out toward Blaine, Kentucky. And there was a couple that had been going through that area and had spotted, they said 2.
Yeah.
They were in a pair.
2 of them? You don't hardly ever get those.
Mm-hmm. They said they were in a pair. Now, I don't know how true that was, but apparently a gentleman interviewed them, and he said that it holds water, that he thought that it was probably a Bigfoot sighting.
Oh, wow. Well, I just want that, because you've never heard of 2, but you've always heard of the 1.
Yeah.
And that makes it, how did you try to investigate any part of that?
I went to the exact same place, which is around the Rich Creek boat dock, going out to that Route 32, going out toward Yatesville Lake, toward Blaine. And I didn't get anything at all. But, it is kind of creepy. I mean,
right.
And I'm just a girl, and sometimes I just don't go too many places by myself.
Well, I'm the guy, and I don't do that myself. So, especially in the paranormal, it gets a little crazy. How long was you in the paranormal before you got into the, or are you still in it?
I am still mostly paranormal.
Okay.
And I had my first experience when I was 4.
Oh, wow.
And then the biggest one that set me on the path to where I'm at is when I was 12. And so I've been doing the paranormal since I was 12.
Oh, wow. So you've pretty much been doing it, you might as well say, all your life then.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then 13, you started with Bigfoot too.
Yeah. 13, 14, 15. It was, because I still lived in Kentucky. And when I turned 18, I actually, once I graduated and everything, I came to Columbus, Ohio,
Right.
to go to school. I went to OSU. And so, but Ohio, even has tons of Bigfoot stuff, especially Ohio. I mean, I went to, what was it, Slate Run, I think is what it's called. And there's Bigfoot sightings there. Wayne National Forest is huge in Bigfoot sightings. And so,
Really?
yeah. So, from Kentucky to Ohio. And then, so still the same thing. So on the same path.
Now, Jennifer York asked, have you ever heard of the Bigfoot sighting in Mammoth Cave?
I have, but I've only heard of it. I've not been there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And there's also been sightings in Carter Caves, and that's in Kentucky. And they actually had like castings of the footprints in Carter Caves. So that's their proof that, there had been, some sort of a Bigfoot there because they got the prints.
Oh, well, that's neat though, because you don't get anything where you're at, as in prints, but you go somewhere else. Of course, I guess it depends on the ground. It has to be soft ground or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe, I wouldn't know how to get the print. I mean, I guess if you find one, you go out there and you can cast it. I have seen them.
Right.
I have friends that are into Bigfoot way more than I am and have way better, cooler evidence than I do. And so there's no doubt. And southeastern Ohio is like, there's just so much of that activity down there. So,
Really?
I've been, oh yeah. So once the paranormal stuff starts to slow down, I want to try and, do another investigation. I have a few friends. I won't mention their names because I don't know if they want me to, but they don't believe so much in the paranormal. And I'm a huge skeptic with Bigfoot. So it's kind of like, you take me Bigfooting, I'll take you ghost hunting.
Yeah, there you go. A little trade out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's a good question right here that came up in the thing. Chris Nuara. Chris, man, if I screw up your name, I'm so sorry. And I've been friends with you forever. Nuara. He's cool as could be. He helps me out on everything. Every native culture has a name for Bigfoot. Do you know many of them?
I don't, to be honest with you. I mean, no.
No. Didn't you mention Trimble County?
What county?
Trimble.
No.
They said Jeff Matt said there's Trimble County. There was a lot of sightings there of Bigfoot hunting, or they do a lot of Bigfoot hunting there in Trimble County.
Oh, okay.
But that might be something that you could put on your list of Trimble County.
I know. I have a bucket list.
And now Adams County, Ohio.
Adams County. There is, I mean, like I made a note earlier that was like Ohio has the 5th most Bigfoot sightings.
Oh, really?
Along with the Pacific Northwest, and even going into like, parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Virginia. And so I think that, I mean, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big area.
Yeah, especially close to home. So when you kind of look around, and you're like, yeah, I'll just keep the shades pulled. Don't need them looking in on me.
Right. And then, the Ohio grassman, and so it is, I don't know. I mean, I think that because I'm so much into the paranormal, that I still have so much to learn about Bigfoot myself. And so, the more intrigued that I am, I start digging. But I think, on a scale, I'm like kind of way down here,
Oh,
but I've had enough experiences. I've been to enough places to where it just puts me on that path that I want more. I want to know
right.
more. I want to do more. But yeah, I mean, Ohio is incredible.
Now, when you go Bigfoot hunting, what kind of stuff do you use to, like, equipment do you use to kind of see if you can capture anything?
It depends on who I'm with because I don't carry a lot of equipment. I'll do recorder, anything that's thermal imaging, um, because I've used that before and we caught something, uh, and it showed up, it looked like it was huge.
Really?
And it was huge and it was moving. And so it wasn't a deer or a bear or anything. It had arms, it had legs, it was moving.
So,
And so
would you say it was standing?
it was standing up,
Oh,
it was
wow.
walking, and it was moving. And the thermal picked it up.
That would have been
So,
interesting.
and another incident, like just within the last couple of days, we had, I was in Kentucky for 2 days, visiting family, and I like going out in the woods, and I like going to the top of this hill that looks over Louisa, Kentucky, and into West Virginia. And so I was walking back down the hill, and I wanted to just kind of listen, and I didn't have a lot of equipment. I didn't have anything really but my phone, and that's it.
Oh,
And
wow.
I heard, if I was really still and quiet, it was like something was breathing heavy. Like I don't know what it was, and just a feeling like, you know what? I shouldn't really be in here by myself, because you just get that feeling like something's watching you, or like,
Right.
you know, is it going to peek around this tree or something and like scare the bejesus out of me?
I
You
know what
know?
you're saying. I mean, the woods are tricky anyway. I mean, especially if you're in deep woods.
Yeah, and it's a safety thing for me as well because I'm by myself and I'm not armed with, any kind of protection,
Right.
you know. So, but I just wanted to kind of get a feel for it, and I saw some, like, some tree branches, the way that they form things, and some vines wrapped around this. I mean, it was like it was in detail, and it was just like, who does that? I mean, that it just doesn't seem like it's by accident. And so, but
Right.
it's just really neat to get out there and just, I like hiking. I love, love, love nature. So if I can hike it or just be out there, I'm fine with
Right.
that. And who knows what I'm going to see or what's going to happen. So,
I don't blame you. I mean, it's just like the paranormal. The more that happens, the more you want it. Chris asked again. He says, "Do you think Yeti and Sasquatch are related?"
well, yeah. I mean, aren't they kind of like the same? I mean, Yeti is kind of like, he's up there in cold, right? Canada or whatever. The Yeti is cold and Bigfoot is not. I don't know. Um, for a long time, I thought they were the same.
Really? It's interesting that you got two different types, and plus two that they said that were together. It. What kind of other places have you been that had, maybe you got some good evidence of, Bigfoot?
So let's see, West Virginia, of course, Ohio, of course, Kentucky. I do have family in Texas, and so I've tried, not to any success or anything, in Texas. Colorado, I've looked around in Colorado. Again, no like any success or anything, but I do think that Texas, I'm going back in on November 5th.
Right.
And that's going to be like on my list. That's what I want to do. I want to do some like Bigfoot hunting. And
Right.
I had some friends that were doing some things right on the Texas-Louisiana border. And the evidence that they caught is amazing. And so I'm going to see if these guys will let me join.
Oh, wow. Well, I
And
mean, that's the thing. What's one of the biggest pieces of evidence that you've got so far?
well, one night we were out and I decided to get together with some guys who are Bigfoot hunters. And it was a spur of the moment. And I do know that what we saw, what we heard, scared us to death. And they got, how do I explain this? They got some recordings that they brought back, and I guess they have equipment that can test this noise and against everything, every wild animal out there. And the noise that they captured, the whatever sound that was nothing that they'd ever heard before.
Oh, wow.
It can be explained away as a coyote. It can be explained by anything. You know, is the software that has every animal voice on it, say a wolf or a cat or a bear.
Right.
And what they captured couldn't be explained. And I know that it chased us even after we were in our vehicles leaving. We were like, okay, we got to go. And whatever that was chasing us out.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah. And that is probably the worst experience I've had. Maybe the better experience, but by far the scariest for me. I hadn't been back really doing anything with Bigfoot since that experience because I got so scared. And I did have a chance to go, was it earlier this year? Maybe. Oh, it was earlier this year. I was going to get to go around the July 4th holiday with the team that was going to go, and some things come up and I couldn't. So that's why I want to get back out there and do that. I mean,
and this was
I want to know what that was, you know?
Right. That was in Texas, Louisiana?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That'd have been, see, that's something that intrigues you enough to where you want to go back and see if you can find more.
Mm-hmm. And that there's, God, I forgot how many acres of land that has, but it's private. And
Right.
so, yeah. So I want to go back out there and see, because I don't know. And like I said, I'm a huge skeptic. So, but it's also kind of like, I just don't know. And I want to find out.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's like in the paranormal. You want to find out in the paranormal too.
yeah, but when it just, when something looks at you or when you see something like that and you can feel it, is just incredible. And so I don't know. I want to know more.
Wow.
So, and I have tons and tons of friends that do this kind of stuff. So I'm going to do it.
So you're ready to pack your bags and head on out, right?
Yeah.
So another thing comes up with me is, I don't knock anybody that does it because, like I said, it interests me too, because I'd like to find out if there is, but all the different technology that we have with, like you said, the infrared and, some of the higher stuff that we can use out in the fields and stuff. It's like, how do they keep camouflage from all this?
I don't know. And the other thing with equipment is one of the guys that I was with had something that measures, it's kind of like I guess what they use for an earthquake that, picks up, the sounds that they make on the ground or whatever. And it measured like, okay, one of these guys that I was with is probably at least 250.
Oh, wow.
And when he walked, it measured blah, blah, blah. But what we got from whatever that thing was measured twice that.
Oh, wow. Really? And it wasn't like a bear. Well, of course, bears probably come up on you.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bear. No one thought it was a bear.
Well, that's the thing about a bear. Usually, if you're in the woods, bears come up on you, especially, if they smell food or whatever. But I don't think Sasquatch, unless he's got Slim Jims.
Right. That is
now,
funny.
If you got Slim Jims, then I guess he'll come over and join you.
Right.
That's the only way. That's the only thing I know about Sasquatch is TV.
Yeah, and see that's the thing, I'm like this far down on the scale of like Bigfoot hunters, and other people that I know that are like, oh my God, they're amazing. Right. And to be friends with them or to even, get to go out with them is a huge honor. So, and a particular group, I can't wait to get back out there with them.
You're excited about it. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah. And you know what? They're going to be in trouble when I take them to one of my haunted locations.
Oh, really? So
tables will be turned.
So the tables will be turned and you're going to freak them out a little bit.
Yeah, because they'll be in my neck of the way. I know what I'm doing and they're going to be like, what?
This is a pretty interesting question from Chris. He asked, do you believe Bigfoot, we're talking about, it's a flesh and bone creature, or do you think it's a spiritual creature? Maybe that's why we can't always capture it.
Okay. I'm going to go off the deep end a little bit here because I'm always curious and I have an open mind. Okay. Right. So I don't know. I tend to think that it could be bone and flesh.
Right.
However, if I have an open mind, I had somebody tell me once that maybe it's a shapeshifter. Maybe it's...
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I never thought of that as a shapeshifter.
Or, even alien-like. I mean, maybe, and I've had all kinds of ideas thrown at me because I'm a skeptic and I'm like, okay, well, tell me. And it was brought up, could it be a shapeshifter? Could it be something mystical? Could it change?
Right.
I mean, maybe it's a bear that can change into this, or maybe it's a man. And, when you're in the hills of West Virginia and Kentucky, we honestly thought it could be a hunter because, a big man dressed in, heavy jackets and coats, and he's got a hat over his head. And, but I've had everything thrown at me, but maybe it is, spiritual in some way or shapeshifter or, because I did a paranormal investigation at a particular farm and that if you read about that location, it will talk about shapeshifters. And we ask, can you change from animal to human? And it came back on a recorder and it said, yes, I can.
Oh, wow.
So if that's the case, if that is true, and here we are, if we're talking about the paranormal, here we go again.
Right.
Is it demon? Is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? What is it? And the same thing that you ask about Bigfoot. So when we ask, could it change from a human to an animal? And it said, yes, I can.
Oh, wow.
So that puts a whole nother spin on it. And so, I mean, there we go. I just started digging again. And that
well,
was.
it's like Lee Jackson just says maybe a maybe a multi-dimensional entity.
Okay. Meaning.
Spiritual or something that can pass through dimensions. That's why we can't capture it. You know what I'm saying? Because we say paranormal is different dimension. You see,
right.
Maybe it's able to cross through. You know, from different dimensions.
And we talk about that on the paranormal side with spirits. It's like, I've had, a spirit say, they can pass through the veil. And the veil is kind of like a thin curtain between this world and the other world. And some spirits can cross back and forth between the veil whenever they want. So
right.
Is that possible? Maybe. If it's possible for spirits to, come and go through the veil as they please, then I don't know.
Everything okay? Sound like somebody fell over. Okay.
Oh, not on my end. They're probably going out the door.
Oh, okay. There's another one that Chris said. I've heard reports that there were disc-shaped crafts right before they encounter Bigfoot. So that's another.
I have heard that. I was in Columbus, Ohio, and there was some sort of lights in the sky, and there were tons and tons of people that had saw these lights in the sky. And then probably for, I don't know, maybe a few weeks after that, it was Bigfoot sightings, or was it Dogman? What was these sightings? And then a hunter, was missing or had disappeared, and they thought that he had been, captured by Bigfoot, and it got to be, no, it turned out not. He was found.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that was really interesting, because when you said that, I'm like, oh, I have heard that before.
See, this is all new to me. I mean, this is the first time I'm even learning about any of this. So, but I've always been intrigued by it, like I said.
I think there's so many spins that you can put on if it's a ghost spirit, Bigfoot, Dogman, if it's, Yeti, whatever that might be. I think everybody has an opinion on it, but I'm really intrigued at the thought of, could it be a shapeshifter?
That's making a lot of sense right there, because if there is actually a shapeshifter that can do that, maybe that's why it can disappear so quick and nobody can actually capture it.
Right. And then I've always wondered, like, how can Bigfoot be in Ohio and Washington State, or even Florida, Pennsylvania? I mean, and if they're so popular and they're out, I mean, why aren't there more sightings? Why isn't there more proof? Why aren't they more common? I would just think that we would see these guys a whole lot more than what we are.
Right. I agree with you there. That's why you only get sightings and you don't, drive down the road and see them, walking beside you all the time like deer do. Deer's on the side of the road grazing. Bigfoot's over there on the side of the road grazing. It's like, okay. You don't see that. I like that theory. That theory is that's an intriguing theory, because everybody's always capturing that one moment or that one piece of film or that one piece of evidence that's, very substantial, but in the same sense, boom, it's gone.
Yeah. So, and then, like, one of the times I was Bigfoot hunting, whatever this thing was, it started off, and it could run. Like, not like run like we do, but I mean, really fast. like walking. And if we're right behind it, and I mean, that thing was moving. So how can it just be gone like that? I mean, I don't know. So
Oh,
that's why I
sorry.
just want to get back out there and find out.
Well, see, that's the thing. Just get everybody out there and see what they can all get. I mean, it's just a matter of joining together and get all the evidence you can. You know, it's like in the paranormal field too. You know, a bunch of para-unity people, we get together and hey, let's not fight amongst each other. Let's just join together.
And that's why I like our group, Para Unity, is when I was working with Jackie, I said, hey, Para Unity, because I want to bring everybody in together. And instead of tearing each other apart, no matter what you believe in, whether it's demons or Bigfoot or,
hello? Does everybody still see Lola?
I'm still here.
Are we there?
I'm here. I don't see you anymore, though. Shane?
I was gone too. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either, but I'm here.
Okay, so you was on the Para-Unity.
Yeah, because no matter what we believe in, we should, still come together and instead of tearing each other apart, because it just seems like, you show me something and I'm going to call you an idiot. Like, oh my God, you're crazy, instead of trying to, come together and say, yeah, we're doing this for the same reasons.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly right. I agree with you 100% on that. I think we need
yeah,
more of that in all fields.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
Chris. He just keeps rocking on with these things. He says that he believes that a lot of people don't come forward because they're scared of people thinking they're crazy.
Exactly. Same thing. I could sit here and tell you, I just saw a spirit walk across that back room back there, just because I know that I'm in a haunted location right now. And I could just tell you that there was something that walked in that back hallway down there. Are you going to believe me? Maybe. But it happens, and it just did.
Well, I'll replay the video. Maybe that's why we went out. You never know. Because what happened after we walked through? Did our cameras go crazy?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So, but he makes a good point, because people don't want to share anything anymore because they get made fun of, or it's just not a matter. And I want something to be debunked. Like, okay, maybe that's a car going by or a shadow. I know that it's not, but I want you to tell me that no, there's a reason, there's an explanation for this. Okay.
Right.
But don't tear me down. I'd be like, oh, well, thank you. I love a healthy debate about what is or what's not.
Yeah.
But well, that's not tear.
That's what makes things so much more real, is because you can tell them what you've seen, what you got, and everything. And they can come back with, okay, it could have been this. And then you can debunk it from that. Say, no, I tried that. That didn't work the way I wanted to. That's fun. But downgrading somebody or belittling somebody because they believe that what they saw and stuff, that's out of the question. I don't believe in all that.
Right. And that's what I like about our groups, is because, as a moderator and admin for all 6 of our groups, we don't tolerate any kind of, nobody's going to get bullied. We want you to share your stories. We want to hear what's going on. We want to know where you're at, what you're doing, share your stories, your evidence, whatever it may be. If it's Bigfoot, Mothman, we have Mothman too. Yeah. And, so no matter what it is, we want to hear about it. And in our group, you can share that. And if we see anybody acting crazy or not being fair, being mean, they're out,
I don't blame you.
So absolutely. And So that's what I'm trying to do. And I want to go across the board, whether it's paranormal, Bigfoot, Mothman, Yeti, any other creatures, Dogman,
Yeah.
I want to do it all.
Hey, why
So,
not? We only live once. Let's experience it all.
yeah.
You
So I
agree?
do like the idea of the shapeshifter because maybe Bigfoot is Dogman and they can change that way or,
There
you
you
know,
go. What are some of your, if you don't mind, if everybody out there may be interested, what are some of your websites or pages that you have that they may go to and ask to join?
absolutely. Let's see. We have the Bigfoot, of course, and we have Paraunity. It's Paraunity Paranormal. We have Mothman and Urban Legends. And that's another thing. Think about urban legends for a minute with Bigfoot or, well, anything for that matter.
Yep.
So sometimes they all tie in. And then, we also have Fairyland, and so it's just a mixture of different groups, but we all kind of like I think they intertwine quite a bit, with Dogman and Yeti, Bigfoot, Mothman, urban legends, paranormal. I think that they all tie in. And so absolutely join and share. That's what
Of
it's
course.
all about. Is I want to hear everything. I want to see your evidence. I want to just, I want your opinion on mine too, because I just wrapped up an investigation in Columbus, Ohio at Harrison House. And we were going Facebook Live and, people were, going on live with us and asking us questions and watching our, show. And so that's what it's all about. So
That's when it's fun.
yeah, because I want opinions. I want to know what you guys think.
There you go. And there you go. You guys, their website she just announced. I'll try to catch them a little bit later. I'll have her maybe send me a message and I'll copy them and paste them for you guys. And that way you all be able to check it out and go join and maybe send some evidence to to them. She likes them. She loves them. She wants some more of them.
You're absolutely right.
So it doesn't matter what you got, paranormal. She's got that. If you got Bigfoot, she wants to hear that. Mothman, Dogman, Yeti,
Yeah, I just did a show on Mothman.
Oh,
And
really?
oh yeah. I did a radio show just, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago about the Chicago Mothman. And not many people even knew about the Chicago Mothman. And, because do you know anything about Mothman? No?
No, I just only Mothman I know is what I seen on TV.
Well, that's how it started, the Point Pleasant, West Virginia incident. But there were sightings in Chicago and even here in Indiana. There was a Mothman sighting. And so I did this show on Mothman. And there I go again, chasing that, what is it? And it says it only appears when bad things happen. It's like a bad omen when the Mothman shows up.
I remember that.
So, I mean, there I go again, whether it be Bigfoot, Mothman, demon. I have been in some bad, horrible places. So, never know.
There was, I think, I don't know. You were speaking of that, and I remember it shows up just before something happens. Everybody said, "Oh, well, it's a demon," and it tells you what's going on. But then you got that other side that says, "No, it's here to try to stop it."
Right. And see, that's a good debate between. I love a good debate as long as it's fair and it doesn't get mean, But
Yeah.
because the bridge collapsed, as everybody knows, in Point Pleasant, and that was bad. So that's why people think it's a bad sign is when it shows up. But then you made a good point. Maybe it was trying to prevent that from happening, or maybe it,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you're going to have both sides to anything anyway. Now, this is something new. Chris came up with, have you ever seen tree structures? I'm lost on that. You know anything about that?
The tree structures, like you'll see limbs going this way or that way, and sometimes they have like intertwined, and it's almost like, I don't know, are they trying to build something or trying to even block certain parts off, or like, like a gate, like you can't go past this, or is that what you mean?
I think, or something where, I guess that's what it was, and I'll let him answer that after he hears you. Joe Campbell, what's up? He says he has tons of evidence that from past investigations he would love to share.
Yeah.
Hop on there, buddy. Hello, Kat. Glad to see you, sweetie. I think I seen Phil on there once. Oh, yes, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I have seen. Yeah, and I got some really cool pictures of that over the last couple of days being in Kentucky.
Really?
So yeah, I'm going to post those on our Bigfoot site, on our group site. And so, because I thought that was really neat, and it's just like, what is that? So
yeah. Those things sound pretty cool. Post them, and if I see them on there and get posted, because it's so hard for me. I try to be a social media freak, but it's kind of hard because I'm a truck driver too, so I can't drive and do everything at once.
Why not?
Yeah, do you want me to kill somebody out there?
Yeah.
Melissa Marquez, she says there was a Mothman sighting in Minnesota about just before a bridge collapsed. Did you hear about that?
Wow. I didn't. When was it?
I'm not for sure, Melissa. If you no, she read about it. I'm not for sure how long ago.
Okay.
And Joe says he got Indian Mountains in Newark, Ohio.
Yes.
That sounds. You've been there?
I've been in Newark, Ohio. Yes, I've also investigated a jail there, the Olicking County Jail. So yes, I know where he's talking about.
Oh wow! There you go, Joe. So you're right up her alley there, my friend. She knows what's going on. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with some of these questions that some of these tree structures. We done that one. Chris talking about werewolves. Joe Campbell. He is Newark Paranormal Society in Ohio. All right, Joe. Thanks for that, and we'll give you a shout out on that, my friend. Let's see. I'm waiting for them to answer. 2007.
Oh, wow.
2007 is when that bridge collapsed and there was my Mothman sighting. See, all those little, I guess most people call them myths, legends, urban legends, things like that. They're kind of interesting, but, I don't know. I think I'd be spreading myself thin when I start going out there and okay, I'm going to do paranormal. We're going to do Bigfoot. It's like when I get involved in a hobby, man, it's just like I go all out, and I can't. It's so much. It's so hard to, keep up with so many of them. But
yeah, and I focus on paraunity and paranormal, because that's who I always started off to be, and that's my thing. But I also think with paranormal, it just kind of goes over into what is urban legend, what is real. I mean, so I think it kind of carries over into other areas. But as far as where there's ghosts, spirits, demons, whatever, that is my forte. That's what I know the most about. That's what has always had me. But with Bigfoot, it's just growing up in Kentucky and West Virginia, Ohio, it's just always had me as, what is that? And, so it just intrigues me so much that I just, I want to know more. What is it? How do they live? Do they come and go? Is it a shapeshifter? Is it brought on by UFO? I mean, I have so many questions.
Right.
So.
Hey, Chris said Point Pleasant was the first Mothman sighting, right?
Yes, back in 66 or 67.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing a documentary on that. And here's Joe. He says he's investigated an arcade mall. It was built in 1908 in middle downtown Newark, Ohio. Down the street from Old Licking Jail.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, you're going to have to get with Lola here
hit
and
me
get
up.
her some pictures and, what is it? Do you hear that? It's like, and I'm like, what in the world is that? I'm looking around. I'm about ready to fly off this chair. So you got it, Lola. It's all you, girl. I'm out of here for the night. But I tell you what, it's at 10 o'clock. We're going to cut it at 10 here real quick. But we do appreciate it. Hold on there for a second, Lola, before we get off. Guys, check it out if you all are in. Oh, did we lose Lola?
No, I'm here. I'm still here, Shane.
What?
Hello.
There, I got.
Oh, okay, there you are. I was like, I don't know what happens.
I don't know what it is. I go to do something, and all of a sudden it goes. I'm going to stand still. All right, that's all we got for the night, guys. And like I said, I'm going to get Lola to write down all the websites for you, and I'm going to put them up and post them for you guys. If you all are interested in joining, get on there and check it out. And a quick word from our sponsor from Ghost Hunt Weekends. It's the ultimate paranormal fan experience. If you want to ghost hunt, check them out, www.ghosthuntweekends.com. Next week, we got my brother Chris on. We're going to talk, like I said, we are going to talk paranormal. We're going to talk about what he's been up to, how he's doing, and all the places he sneaks into where he's not supposed to. No, I'm just playing with Chris. Is a great guy. He sends me all kinds of good evidence. That's some of the stuff he's been doing some investigation with Phil and Kat on here. You might be interested in, Lola.
Absolutely. Yeah, hit me up.
And get them up there so you can. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that. Welcome me back. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Jamie Dozier. Jeffrey said, welcome back. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It drives me freaking nuts. But that's it, guys. We probably are going to have a part 2, either Mothman or something else, but definitely Bigfoot. And hopefully we can have Miss Lola on again.
Awesome.
So we had a great time. Really enjoyed listening to the stuff and actually come up with some things that were more, right down my alley, especially shapeshifters. That was pretty cool. It kind of made a lot of sense to me when you said that. So that was really neat. But tune in next week, guys. We love you. Thank you for being here. Remember, share and get on. And like I said, I'll post just as soon as I get a chance to, because I think I'm on most of those, if I'm not mistaken. On most of our boards, I think I'm on there, but I won't quote myself on that. Because I do a lot of paranormal and Bigfoot and stuff like that. But you all have a great night. We love you, and we shall catch you later. And always and forever, stay spooky.